Chapter 1. The Unmaking the Last Breath of You. The last thing you remember as a man is not a grand philosophy, not a prayer, or a loved one's face. It is the cold, not the bracing cold of the North Atlantic, but the sterile, antiseptic cold of a chrome table in a room that smells of iodine and ozone. You are strapped down, leather bonds biting into your wrists and ankles. The ceiling is a glossy, impenetrable black, reflecting the frantic, animal terror in your own eyes. You don't know how you got here. Perhaps you were a dock worker from Pauper's Drop who couldn't pay Ryan's tariffs. Perhaps you were a dissident who spoke too loudly against Fontaine's grip. Or perhaps you were simply in the wrong place when Ryan's security needed fresh volunteers for the Protector program. Your past is a ghost, already fatting under the brilliant, cruel light of the operating lamp. A figure moves into your line of sight. Dr. Yisuchung, his face obscured by a surgical mask, his eyes magnified to insect-like proportions by his thick glasses. He doesn't see a man. He sees a subject, a resource. No, the adrenal response is still too high. He mutters to an unseen assistant, his voice a clinical whine. The conditioning will not take if the substrate is this volatile. Increase the sedative dosage. We must break the will before we can build the purpose. A sharp prick in your neck. A new cold floods your veins. A sluggish tide that smothers your fear, your anger, your memories. It doesn't bring peace, only a terrifying paralysis. You are a prisoner inside your own body. You can feel everything, but you can no longer struggle. The machinery whirs to life. Massive robotic arms, like the limbs of a malevolent deep-sea crustacean, descend from the darkness. The first thing they bring is the suit. It is not lowered onto you. It is assembled around you. A cuirass of layered steel and brass, heavier than any burden you've ever known, is clamped over your chest. The air hisses out of your lungs with a whumph as hydraulic lines snake out, seeking ports that have been surgically grafted onto your own flesh. You feel a deep, visceral click as your cardiovascular system is hardwired into the suit's machinery. The thrum of a circulatory pump becomes your new heartbeat. Then comes the drill. It is a monstrous, blunt-nosed thing, all pistons and reinforced teeth. It is not a tool you will hold. It is a weapon that becomes a part of you. The armature locks onto your right arm, and you feel the bone-deep vibration as it powers on for a test cycle. The sound is a deafening, low roar that promises only destruction. Your hand, your own human hand that once might have held a tool, or a glass, or another person's hand, is now permanently fused to the trigger of a machine designed to tear the world apart. The final stage is the helmet. It is a dome of porthole glass and reinforced brass, a diving bell meant for one. As it is lowered, the world narrows to a single, round window. The seal engages with a final, definitive hiss thump. The outside world, the room, Suchung, your former life, is silenced, replaced by the sound of your own ragged, amplified breathing and the constant, low hum of the life support systems. This is your new universe, a metal womb, a walking coffin. And then you hear it, a new sound cutting through the mechanical drone, a soft, innocent giggle. Through your porthole, you see a little girl in a scruffy dress, her eyes glowing with a faint, golden light. She is led into the room by a woman in a lab coat, Tenenbaum. The girl looks at you, not with fear, but with a curious recognition. She places her small hand against the cold glass of your helmet. In that moment, a jolt, unlike the cold sedatives or the brutal surgery, courses through you. It is not an emotion you choose. It is not a memory you recall. It is a directive burned into the core of your being by Suchung's cruel science. It is a bond, chemical, genetic, and absolute. This little girl is not a stranger. She is yours, your purpose, your reason for existing, your everything. The last vestige of the man you were screams into the silence of your mind, a final, futile protest. And then it is gone, smothered by the conditioning, erased by the bond. You are no longer a man. You are a big daddy, and this is your first memory. Chapter 2, The Baptism, a symphony of rust and blood. Your first steps are not steps, they are seismic events. Each footfall is a ton of metal and flesh crashing onto the polished Art Deco floors of Rapture, leaving cracks like spider webs in the ceramic. The world outside your helmet is a distorted aquarium, viewed through a porthole of thick, greenish glass. Sound is a muffled, distant thing. The frantic, high-pitched shrieks of the splicers are nothing more than the chittering of insects, drowned out by the three sounds that now form the symphony of your life. The deep, rhythmic whoosh clank of your own breathing apparatus, the constant, low thrum of your drill arm at idle, and the soft, skipping footsteps of the little sister beside you. She is your assigned one, your lamb. She calls you Mr. Bubbles. You have been deployed to the Atlantic Express Station, a place that once thrummed with the life of Ryan's glorious city. Now, it is a tomb of dripping pipes and shattered dreams. Water streams down cerulean tiles in constant, glistening sheets. The corpses of the New Year's Eve partygoers, still in their tattered finery, lie where they fell, their final revelry frozen in rictus grins. The air you process through your suit's filters is thick with the smells of salt, decay, and the coppery tang of old blood. The little sister pays the horror no mind. She hums a tuneless nursery rhyme, her glowing eyes scanning the carnage with a practical, detached air. She is not looking for people. She is looking for resources. There, her tiny, echoing voice pipes up, pointing a finger towards a shadowy alcove where a body lies swollen and still. The angel sings for him. I can hear it. This is your purpose. This is the sacred ritual. You are her guardian, her protector, her unyielding shield. As she skips towards the corpse, you follow, your bulk a moving fortress. Your entire being is a taut wire of hypervigilance. Your photoreceptor eyes, set deep within the helmet, sweep the grand hall, the broken ticket booths, the dark openings of maintenance tunnels. every shadow is a potential threat. Every drip of water is a footfall. The conditioning, the pair bond, is a physical law inside you, a gesh that commands your every action. Her safety is your only physics. The attack comes not from the shadows, but from the ceiling. A spider splicer, all elongated limbs and porcelain mask, drops from a light fixture with a shriek. A rusty hook aimed for the little sister's back. You do not decide to react. Your body moves before the signal can even be processed by the fatting remnants of your human brain. It is a code yellow, a direct threat to the asset. A sound rips from your vocal synthesizer, a sound that was engineered to be terror itself, a deep, guttural, metallic roar that echoes through the cavernous station like the horn of a damned leviathan. Your drill arm, a moment ago a low thrum, erupts into a deafening, percussive. It is a sound that doesn't just fill the air, it vibrates through the floor, through your bones, a promise of utter annihilation. The splicer is fast, but you are an unstoppable force. The hook scrapes harmlessly off your armored shoulder with a shower of sparks. Your free hand, a massive riveted fist, shoots out and closes around the splicer's torso. There is no finesse. You bring the shrieking, writhing form to your drill. The result is not a battle, it is a demolition. Metal meets flesh, and flesh loses. A red mist fills the air, spattering your porthole window. The shrieks are cut off into a wet gurgle. You do not feel triumph. You do not feel disgust. You feel only a silent, systems check confirmation. Threat neutralized. Asset secure. You lower the mangled remains to the ground. A brief, almost reverent pause in the violence. The little sister, utterly unperturbed, continues her work. She kneels by the original corpse, produces a massive needle from her small dress, and gets to work, gathering the angel's glow. The atom, a swirling, luminous red, flows from the body into a canister she carries. As she works, a strange, warm sensation floods the circuitry integrated with your spine. It is a reward signal from the conditioning, a chemical approval, a sense of rightness. This is what you were made for. This is your entire world, the protect, the gather, the bond. When she is done, she skips back to your side, placing her small, sticky hand against the brass of your leg plate. She looks up at you through the glass and the layers of programming and smiles. Thank you, Mr. Bubbles. In that moment, the last ghost of the man you were surfaces for a single, agonizing second, a memory of a different hand, a different smile, a different life. It is a phantom limb of the soul. It aches with an immeasurable loss. And then the conditioning smothers it, like a boot stamping out the last ember of a fire. The warmth of the reward signal returns, a comforting lie. The drill returns to its idle thrum. The breath apparatus whooshes and clanks. The little sister takes your massive, riveted finger in her hand and together, you turn to face the next dark corridor, leaving the red ruin behind you. Two lost souls, forever bound in the endless, drowning baptism of Rapture. Chapter 3. The Crack in the Bell, a Ghost in the Machine. Time has no meaning in the endless, dripping corridors. It is measured not in hours or days, but in the number of corpses your little sister harvests, the number of splicers that fall to your drill, the number of times you hear that soft, "Thank you, Mr. Bubbles." You have become a fixture of Rapture's ruin, as natural and unquestionable as the leak in the ceiling or the bloom of rust on the walls. Your world is the rhythm, the whoosh clank of your breath, the thrum of the drill, the pitter-patter of small feet. You are in Apollo Square, a central plaza where a massive bronze statue of Andrew Ryan himself gestures grandly towards a future that rotted away. Now, the square is a battlefield, littered with the husks of burnt-out vending machines and barricades made of furniture and despair. New kind of splicer is here, the lead head. More organized, more dangerous, firing rivet guns and Tommy guns from behind cover. The spang of bullets ricocheting off your armor is a new percussion in your symphony. One round, fired from a darkened balcony, strikes your helmet's porthole with a sharp crack. It doesn't shatter, but a hairline fracture, like a tiny lightning bolt, etches itself across your view of the statue's face. Ryan's visage is now broken, staring back at you with a fractured gaze. It means nothing to you. It is a cosmetic damage report, a non-critical systems impairment. Your little sister is harvesting an angel from a corpse slumped over a fountain. The lead heads are closing in, their shouts coordinated. You roar, a challenge that shakes dust from the ceiling, and wade into them. Your drill chews through a barricade, sending wood and metal flying. You backhand a splicer, and the impact against his body is a sickening crunch that reverberates up your armature. Another one leaps onto your back, stabbing frantically at the hydraulic lines on your neck. You reach back, crush the assailant in your fist, and fling the body into a wall. It is a brutal, efficient ballet of violence. You are winning. And then it happens. A lucky shot from a rivet gun strikes a pressure release valve on your lower back, a minor component, but a critical one for fine-tuning your suit's buoyancy and hydraulic pressure. There is a deafening, high-pitched, a shriek of escaping steam that drowns out even your drill. A cloud of superheated vapor envelops you. Alerts you cannot read flash across your internal display, but it is not the physical damage that paralyzes you. It is the smell, the blast of steam forced through the suit's internal filtration system, carries with it a scent from the outside world. It is a specific, complex aroma. The damp leather of a submerged chair, the ozone from a sparking wire, and underneath it all, the faint, almost imperceptible fragrance of a specific perfume. Fleur de Rapture, still clinging to the clothes of a long-dead woman nearby. The scent bypasses your conditioning. It slips through a crack in the programming, just like the steam slipped through the crack in the valve, and it triggers a memory, not an image, a feeling. You are in a cozy, warm room. The air is thick with the smell of coffee, that perfume, and the waxy scent of a phonograph record spinning. You are laughing. You are safe. You are looking at someone, a woman with a smile that makes your chest feel tight. She is handing you a glass of wine. The world outside the porthole is dark water, but in here it is golden. You are a man. You have a name. It is on the tip of your tongue. The memory lasts for a nanosecond. A single, agonizing frame of a life you lost. Then it is gone, but its ghost remains. A phantom pain in a heart you are no longer supposed to possess. The warm, chemical reward of the pair bond suddenly feels cold and artificial. The roar of your drill sounds hollow. The little sister's cheerful humming grates against a new, raw nerve you didn't know you had. You stand motionless for a full 3 seconds, a lifetime in the middle of a firefight. A lead head takes the opportunity to fire a full clip into your chest plate. The impacts feel different. They feel personal. The pair bond reasserts itself with the force of a tidal wave. A code yellow flashes in your brain. The splicer is a threat to the asset. You turn, and with a roar of pure, unfiltered rage, you reduce him to nothing. The battle is over. The hissing from your valve slows to a faint whisper. The little sister finishes her harvest and skips over, completely unaware of the earthquake that just occurred inside you. She places her hand on your leg. "You are hurt, Mr. Bubbles," she says, her head tilted. You look down at her through the fractured porthole. For the first time, you do not just see the asset. You see a little girl, a child in a ruined world bonded to a monster. The thought is not your own. It is the ghost's. You let out a low, subsonic groan, a standard Big Daddy acknowledgement. It is the only language you have left. But inside the metal shell, inside the prison of your own body, a new sound has begun. The silent, screaming question of the man you used to be. The crack is in the bell, and now you can never unhear the ringing. Chapter 4. The Echo in the Shell, a portrait of the monster. The world is no longer just a series of threats and objectives. It is now a gallery of ghosts, and every ghost wears your stolen face. The fracture in your helmet has become a fracture in your reality. The memory of the warm room, the perfume, the laughter, it did not fade. It festered. It became a seed of you that the conditioning could not entirely eradicate. Now, as you lumber through the opulent decay of Siren Alley, the past bleeds into the present with terrifying clarity. Your little sister, your lamb, leads you to a new harvest site, the old medical pavilion. The place smells of formaldehyde and rotting carpet. As she kneels to gather from a corpse slumped in a dentist's chair, your photoreceptor eyes scan the room, but your mind sees another. This chair, the tilt of it, the cold gleam of the overhead light, not a dentist's chair, a barber's chair. You are in it. The scent of talcum powder and bay rum. A man in a white smock holds up a mirror. See, sir, a clean sweep, ready for the evening. In the reflection, you see yourself, a man's face, your face. Dark hair, a strong jaw, a faint smile. You look happy, you look human. The memory is a punch to a gut you no longer have. A physical pain lances through your fused spine. You let out a low, guttural moan that has nothing to do with any splicer. The little sister glances up. Do not worry, Mr. Bubbles. The bad voices cannot hurt us. Oh, but they can. The worst voices are inside your head. You turn from the chair, your drill arm twitching erratically. You need to move. You need the rhythm of the march, the distraction of violence. You lead her out of the pavilion and into a grand ballroom, its floor a mosaic of Ryan's sigil, now cracked and stained. A Houdini splicer materializes from the shadows, hands crackling with plasmid energy. The ballroom. It is New Year's Eve, 1958. You are wearing a tuxedo. The same tuxedo now worn by the skeleton draped over the balcony. You are holding 2 glasses of champagne. You are searching the crowd for her. The woman with the smile. The air is thick with perfume and the promise of a bright future. The band is playing Auld Lang Syne. The Houdini splicer unleashes a bolt of incinerate. The fire washes over your chest plate, harmless. But in your mind, you feel the heat of a different fire, the warmth of a room, a hearth, a presence. Your response is delayed, sluggish. You charge, but your trajectory is off. You slam into a marble pillar instead of the splicer, shaking the entire room. The splicer teleports away, cackling. It is the first time you have missed. The little sister finishes her gather and skips to a waterlogged grand piano. She presses a key. A single, sour, discordant note hangs in the humid air. She is at the piano. Her back is to you, her dress the color of deep wine. Her fingers dance across the keys, playing a piece you recognize, but can no longer name. It is beautiful. It is the most beautiful thing you have ever heard. You walk up behind her, place a hand on her shoulder. She stops playing, looks up at you, and SCRA, AWWWK. A spider splicer drops from the chandelier, its shriek shredding the memory to ribbons. This time, your rage is instantaneous, pure, and born of a new, terrible emotion. Grief. You do not just drill the splicer, you obliterate it, painting the piano and the walls with what remains, the discordant notes of the instrument ringing out with each impact. You stand there, heaving, steam venting from your joints. The chemical reward for neutralizing the threat feels like poison. You look at your drill, caked in red, and for the first time, you do not see a tool of protection. You see a tool of butchery. You look at your reflection in the polished brass of the piano's body. The image is warped, distorted. You see the monstrous, hulking form, the porthole with its lightning bolt crack, the brutal drill. You see the monster Rapture made, but superimposed over it, like a double-exposed photograph, is the ghost of the man in the barber's chair. The man in the tuxedo. The man who loved a woman who played the piano. The two images will not reconcile. They cannot. The little sister, unaware of the civil war raging inside your shell, comes to your side. She sees you staring at your reflection. "You are sad, Mr. Bubbles," she says, her small voice filled with a simple, programmed empathy. She reaches out and places her hand on the brass. Next to the monstrous reflection, she placed her hand on your chest, over your heart. "Don't be sad," she had said. "The echo is unbearable." You let out a roar, not of challenge, but of anguish. It is a sound the conditioning did not program. It is a sound that belongs entirely to the ghost in the machine. You turn and slam your fist into the piano, silencing its haunted notes forever. You cannot escape the shell. You cannot return to the man. You are trapped in the terrible, silent space between them, and the only thing louder than the roar of your drill is the echo of the man you were, screaming into the drowning dark. Chapter 5. The Choice, a silence louder than a drill. The ghost has won. It is no longer a fleeting echo. It is a co-pilot in the shell of your body. The name comes to you now, not as a memory, but as a fundamental truth etched into the static of your dying mind. Leo, your body is failing. The damage from countless battles has accumulated. A persistent, wet cough rattles your breathing apparatus. Your lungs are flooding. A hydraulic leak in your left leg forces you into a heavy, dragging limp. The world through your fractured porthole is a hazy, blood-streaked nightmare. But the physical pain is nothing compared to the schism within. You are Leo, a man who loved and laughed, trapped inside a bouncer, a creature built for a single, brutal purpose. You are in Fontaine's department store, a place that once sold dreams of surface world luxury to the people who had renounced it. Now, it is a vertical grave, its escalators stilled, its mannequins skeletal sentinels in a parody of consumerism. Your little sister, Alina, leads you upward. She is different from the others, smarter, more aware. Her eyes don't just glow with Adam, they gleam with a fierce, desperate intelligence. She is not just gathering, she is searching for a way out. And she believes you are the key. The surface, she whispers, her small hand on your leg as you force your broken body up a stalled escalator. We can see the sun, Mr. Bubbles. Leo. Hearing the name from her is a jolt that overrides the conditioning for a full, breathless second. She knows. She has always known. The final confrontation awaits in the Ayn Rand suite, a penthouse overlooking the dark, crushing pressure of the ocean. Sophia Lamb, Rapture's collectivist philosopher queen, stands there. Alina's mother. She does not see a man in a suit. She sees an animal, a broken toy that has outlived its usefulness, standing between her and the perfect embodiment of her ideology, her daughter. Look at it, Alina. Lamb's voice is calm, hypnotic, a relic of Ryan's savage individualism, a brute conditioned by a dead man's science. It is not your protector. It is your cage. Come to me, and we will transcend this flesh. We will ascend. Alina looks from her mother to you. Her small face is a mask of conflict. This is the moment the conditioning was built for. A code vermilion, the ultimate threat to the asset. The programming screams at you to charge, to reduce Sophia Lamb to paste, to eliminate the rival for your little sister's allegiance. But Leo screams louder. You do not move. You stand, a leaking, shuddering monument of metal, your drill hanging limp and silent at your side. For the first time since your unmaking, you are not a weapon. You are a choice. Sophia Lamb makes a gesture. Two of her heavily armed splicers, her family, step from the shadows, their weapons raised. The conditioning ignites, a fire in your veins. Protect. Your drill arm twitches, the motor struggling to spin up. But Leo remembers the warm room, the piano, the smile. You take a single, staggering step, not towards the splicers, but to place your massive, crumbling body directly between their guns and a leaner. You are not attacking. You are interposing. You are a shield, not a sword. The gunfire is deafening. Rivets and bullets slam into your chest plate, your shoulders, your helmet. The glass of your porthole finally spiders, your view of the world fracturing into a dozen fragmented images. Alerts blare and die inside your suit. Hydraulic fluid, black as oil, pumps from your leg onto the expensive carpet. You do not raise your drill. You simply stand, and you take it. Through the cracked glass, you see Alina's face. She is not afraid. She is watching you. She is seeing the choice you are making. The man overcoming the monster. With a final, shuddering groan of metal, your legs give way. You crash to your knees, the impact shaking the floor. The world is fading to a dull, roaring static. The last of the suit's systems are shutting down. The last thing you feel is not the sear of a bullet or the cold of the ocean. It is a small, warm hand on your helmet, then a different sensation. A pressure, a release. The helmet, the final prison, is being unsealed. Cool, stale air touches the face you have not felt in years. Your vision, blurry and fatting, swims into focus. Alina is there, her face inches from yours. She has opened your helmet. She is looking at Leo, and she is crying. You cannot speak. You have no voice left but the suit's roar. But your eyes, your human eyes, meet hers. In them, you pour a lifetime of a ghost's sorrow, a protector's love, and a man's final, quiet peace. You feel a sharp, precise pain at the base of your skull. Not an attack, an extraction. Alina, with Tenenbaum's tools, is harvesting the atom slug from you. She is not taking your life. She is taking the conditioning, the bond, the very thing that made you a big daddy. She is setting the ghost free. As the darkness closes in, the sounds of the world fade. The hiss of leaks, the shouts of splicers, the droning of lamb, all gone. The last sound you hear is not the roar of a drill, or the clank of a suit, or the whoosh of a respirator. It is the sound of a little girl's voice whispering your name, Leo. And then a silence more profound, more powerful, and more peaceful than anything you have ever known. The shell is finally blessedly quiet. And so, we leave the glass corridors and crushing pressure of Rapture behind. May the hum of its broken dreams fade from your ears, replaced by the gentle, quiet peace of the world above. Thank you for listening, everyone. Now close your eyes. Let the surface world hold you safe. And may your dreams be the sweetest ones, far from the deep and dark, filled with light and warmth. Good night. Hope to see you again next time.